Okay, guys, today we're going to break down the Chrysler Town and Country Dodge Grand Caravan Volkswagen Rutan power inverter. When I was at my local junkyard, I was looking for parts for my van, and I have the standard van. When I was looking for parts, I saw this little guy, this little plug that said it put out AC power, and I was intrigued. So as I went to go tear apart the van, I found the power inverter unit. This is the part number. It's a 150 watt DC to AC power inverter. It's made by a company called ASPEN, and there's the part number. The part number, strangely enough, doesn't appear anywhere on the unit itself. There is a little tag at the bottom, but that looks like some kind of date code possibly. But there's no part number on the unit itself anywhere visible. But that is Chrysler MoPAR's part number for the power inverter. And that bottom number is for the actual little plug. This little plug has a special, well, if you pull apart the wiring harness, it has a special little, just a two-prong connector that goes to it. So it was the actual power inverter, and that's this guy. It's not in the diagram, but it was located on the rear driver side fender well, underneath all of the plastic housing that's there. Directly underneath the speaker, there's a speaker there, so it's directly under there. It only takes 3 screws. These are the brackets that hold it in. It only takes 3 screws. I think it was 3 screws. Yeah, it only takes 3 screws. Those brackets are flipped, so it only takes 3 screws to get it out. And then you can have it in your hot little hands to come home and look at and play with. But anyway, 150 watts, a lot of people say that's not a lot of wattage, but I'm not running a circular saw. I'm not trying to charge up a campsite. I just want to, let's say, charge a phone, or I'll plug in a quick little trouble light or something like that and be done with it. And having 110 volts is real convenient, especially when you use your van as a multi-purpose vehicle. The Chrysler Town and Country, I believe the range of dates that this option was available with this particular part number is from, I think it's 2008 to 2016. Same thing for the Dodge. The Volkswagen, I believe, is 2009 to 2014. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but so those are the part numbers. I'm not going to actually say them, but there they are. And what the mystery was after checking the internet and trying to find out as much information about this as I possibly could, I found out that no one knows the pinout. So I wanted to go ahead and solve the mystery of the pinout. So the plug itself has 2 green wires. One has a red stripe, and the other one has I believe it was striped. Yeah, it has, no, it's just a straight green wire. So the other one's a green wire, has no stripe. So there's a red wire and a green wire. You can assume that they have no polarity because it's going to be AC, and I'm not going to go into which one is common and which one is hot. But so we'll just say that these are the AC wires, and just assume the AC is coming out on both of them. There's no ground, so you can't plug in devices that require ground. I believe Volkswagen did have an option for a grounded outlet, and I think that's their 160 watt DC to AC power inverter, but I have no direct knowledge on that one, so we're just going to go through this one for now. So the pinout is 6 active pins. You have 2 large. There's a red and a black, and we can all assume the red and black are going to be, and this is the test unit today. We can all assume, I'll move my feet out of the shot. We can all assume that the red and black are going to be our DC hot, and the positive and negative. And then we have our 2 output wires, and these are the ones going to the little plug here, this little guy. And then we have 2 other wires, and these 2 wires have it's a green and light blue, and then a green and white. Now, the green and light blue one is the one that you want to pay attention to, because that one is the one that if you go straight to hot with that one, while the other two are actually hooked to a power source, while the black and the the red are hooked to the power source. If you hook the green and blue one, it'll flip a relay inside the unit and turn it on. And you might ask the same as I did, what's the green and white one for? Well, the green and white one appears to charge a capacitive circuit so that if after, I think it's about 5 seconds, if after about 5 seconds, 5 or 2 seconds, if you disconnect the green and blue one from a hot source, it'll cycle and keep the unit on. If that doesn't make sense, it's a way that that MoPAR or Chrysler used to put a switch in the front of the cabin so that the driver had control of whether or not the power inverter was on or off. And that switch is located at the bottom of the center console, where the two, I call them cigarette lighters still because I'm that age. But you have the two cigarette lighters, and then below there is the actual power switch if your van has this option. And what it shows is it says power switch, which doesn't make any sense because it doesn't switch any power in the front, but it actually switches on and off this inverter. And this inverter does have a relay inside, and once you supply that positive 12 volts to the green and blue one, it'll click. And we're going to go ahead and go through it now. I have a light over there that's set up to, it's connected to the outlet. And once again, the power setup is pretty common for red and black to be hot, and it's just the same as everything else in the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the power. So that's the power unit. And as opposed to hooking them together, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by just having the one green and blue, and I'm gonna hook that to the hot here. Oh, I have to do it with one hand. Look at that. All right, so I don't know if you heard the clicking, but and you can't. It's got to be a solid hit. You can't play with it. So I'm gonna put this right here and see if you can hear the click once I hit it. Ready and go. So that's it, and then you can see the light just cut on. Now if I let go of, if I disconnect the green and blue one from the power source, the light will go out immediately. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the two wires, and I'm going to put you guys down for a minute right here. Just hold on for a minute. Just pause. Talk amongst yourselves. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm twisting the two wires together, if you can see. So I'm twisting the two wires together, and now I'm going to touch to the same power source. And when I do that, you're going to hear it click again. And you have to do a solid hit. So I'm going to click it. I'm going to do it again. And the light came on. I wait about 5 seconds, well, let's say about 3 seconds, and then once I let go, I'm no longer touching the green and blue and the green and white one to a power source, but it's created a loop circuit where it's keeping the relay activated, which keeps the unit powered. I don't know if I'm going to actually use that. I think I'm just going to probably, for my purposes, I'm just going to wind up hooking the green, hooking all three of these. So the blue, the green and blue, the green and white, and the red all together in one. And then just have it turn on when I want to turn it on. Just hook it to another switch. And then once I power the unit, I can power the unit and have the actual inverter turn on when I want it on or off. So. All right, so that's the breakdown. It's pretty simple, but you know, if you don't know if you have to connect these two wires, or if the wires go to ground or to hot, then there's question marks just stay out there, and it may make you a little leery to actually deal with this. I'm going to disconnect the two wires, and once I disconnect the two wires, I actually break the loop. Let's see here. So I broke the loop, and once you break the loop, then the relay clicks off and the inverter. Now I could use my fluke, which was I was planning to use the fluke in the graph mode to take a look at the sine wave to see if it was a step sine wave or if it was a smooth sine wave. But then when I opened the actual unit, I didn't see a lot of capacitors inside. There's two capacitors, none that really look like they're good for sine wave filtering. There's a couple of chokes on the outlet. And it would be nice if I showed you that, but that wasn't the purpose of this video. The purpose was, no matter where I looked, I'm going to turn this off. No matter where I looked on the internet, people always just said to get the harness from either Chrysler or Dodge, Some people's Jeeps actually have this option as well. They were saying to get the harness, and that's how you hook it up. But if you wanted to retrofit your car, if you wanted to do a custom installation and you wanted to use these parts, then you kind of need to know the pinout, and that's it. So that's the breakdown. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, as always, go ahead and hit me back and let me know if you need some help. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.